Hello, folks. Welcome to season 3 of our On the Call series produced by the Stars Among Us. I'm Ozzy, and I thank you for tuning in to this thank you tour of mine, as each episode is a thank you card to someone who has impacted me in one way or another. This third season, episode 6, I'm shining light on Greg Lingo. Hello, Greg.
Ozzy, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here. I'm seeing you in your man cave with all the beautiful frames around you.
I have 3 daughters, so I needed a space for my own.
So just so the audience knows a little bit about you, you finished your BA in Civil and Environmental Engineering, and then your MBA in Marketing and Finance at Villanova. You went into your family-owned business, or did you create your real estate business?
So I created it. I started right out of college working for a public home building company. I worked there for about 13 years before I went out on my own in about 2007.
Mm-hmm. And you are known for building unique homes in the areas of PA, New Jersey, Delaware. Explain what makes your homes unique.
That's a great question. So we are a custom home builder for the most part. So really it means that we're willing to do what they want with the house. So rather than certainly not a cookie cutter type community where we will we'll sit down with the buyers as the home is being built and kind of change whatever it is that they would like changed, modify, add different things to it. So we're really, I think, pretty pliable and adaptable from the home building standpoint.
You've been doing this for about, over 20 years, something like that?
That's correct, yep.
Does that still give you a lot of joy? Because that is really what you've been doing for all this time, you know?
For me, the idea of like creating someone's home is incredibly rewarding. Very, very stimulating for me to find the next property where we're going to build a community of homes. And there is a really rewarding feeling behind handing somebody the keys to their new house.
Give me 2 best memories of your childhood and then 2 worst.
My childhood was surrounded by friendship and camaraderie, I would say, are kind of the 2 things that we had. Our parents were all working. They so a lot of times we were kind of left to our own devices for the most part. Everybody was really busy, and we had these unique bonds. I speak with probably 10 people a week that I went to grade school with, which I think is really unique.
Yes.
And we were really trying to capture that in the film Last Call. That we have Jeremy Piven's character, Mick, comes back into the neighborhood, and initially he gets razzed a little bit by the guys, but pretty quickly you see that he kind of settles in with them and they're very comfortable together, and it's almost like good old times again. And I didn't realize that was unique until I kind of went away to college and then went into business. And then as I started meeting other people, I kind of thought, that hometown, the fabric that we created and the bonds that we created as kids really defined us, but also that these folks are always going to be there because they were there for you before you had anything. They don't want anything. It's just, we're all kind of rowing in the same direction, if that makes sense.
What's the worst with reference to Last Call?
Important as the amazing cast was, and you were a part of it and added a lot to it. I think your scene as Francine, it was kind of just showing Mick as he's going through the neighborhood, because again, we wanted the neighborhood to be a character in it. Everything that was Mick that he tried to run away from was this neighborhood as he was growing up. He wanted to get educated and get out. And he realized when he came back just how important it was. And he the bodega on the corner that he kind of just took for granted. And then he saw that it was someone's life and a business that they built. And I think that's what I remember from childhood of this is something to celebrate, not something to tear down.
So Jeremy Piven's character is really based around your life.
Well, nothing's autobiographical. Yeah, I would say that, they kind of teach you with the writing to write what you know. And in case, he happened to be a real estate developer. I happened to be a real estate developer. So there was some of those similarities, but I really tried to, I worked with Paolo a lot on this. I also had a couple of friends from grade school, Billy Riley and Michael Bond, that helped me with the story. And we were really, each of the characters is a compilation of a bunch of different characters that we knew growing up.
So as a real estate developer, what was the thing that got you to writing this piece? What was that urgency to get this out onto paper, then into film?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it really came back to when I was in college and I was telling people stories about my family and my brothers and my buddies. And people were kind of like, that's no way. That didn't happen. That's not, so that's when I kind of started realizing that we had something special here. And it got to where I was in a job change and I had a little bit of free time. And I kind of thought that this is a whole nother side of my brain I hadn't exercised before, which was the creative side. And, for me, the film couldn't be too serious. It had to be a comedy. And as fun as these characters are, the pathetic part of the character, we wanted to highlight that they really had a good moral compass and that they were good people there. Maybe misguided, misdirection, but good people. And so for me, it was, a matter of, it's a bit of a love letter back to the neighborhood from growing up.
I kind of got that feeling a little bit, sort of like, when you go away and you come back and you try to fit in, it doesn't really happen immediately. There's a step between your coming back and trying to fit in and then a dam breaks kind of thing. Was there anything like that occurred with you?
Completely. I think when you come back to the neighborhood, it's kind of like, oh, look at this guy gracing us with his presence, and that goes away quickly. You kind of get back into it, and you see it with Mick's character. 1 second they're making fun of him, of his rich friends, of where he lives, and then that night they hung out the whole night and they all partied together. So it's like it was a quick kind of quick reemergence back into the community, and that's a testament to the solid friendships that you had, that you kind of did everything together and you grew up together.
You've written it, you put the pieces together to make it work in terms of production and producers, and there's some crazy stuff that happens when during that course. What also did it feel like to be on the set that you've written?
It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling to see. Really, it was just a figment of our imaginations initially, and to see it implemented was incredible. I think credit to the production team that we had, between Ante Novacek with the locations, and then DJ Dodd and Rob Simmons with the crew and the cast. They were really able to bring to life what Paolo and I wanted to with regard to the movie. So I was smart enough to know that these guys were professionals, and that even though something wasn't exactly how it was on paper, it's fine. It's not only fine, it was probably even better the way that it was done. So we were really fortunate. We also brought in a great consultant, Matthew Cohen, and Matthew kind of helped us shape the film a little bit. Matter of fact, the scene that you were in, that was kind of added after the fact, that we wanted to get Mick back into the neighborhood, and I think that showed the richness of the neighborhood, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And what was your experience like being on the set? I mean, in terms of being an actor.
Yeah, so I inserted myself in as a non-speaking extra. Yeah, a couple of times. What was surprising to me was just the amount of detail that goes into everything. Mm-hmm. You kind of take it for granted as the casual viewer, but to think that really for every 10 minutes that we filmed, it was about 10 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And that part of it, I think I underestimated. I didn't even know what to expect, quite frankly. What was amazing though is to look around and see the 40 people putting this thing together. So all that behind the scenes to me was pretty incredible. And being in kind of construction my whole life, I get the project management, and that part of it was kind of thrilling to see. How did the set design mimic what we thought it was going to look like? And those guys really nailed it. And that's a credit to the producers also. I brought those guys down to Upper Darby, which is kind of Darby Heights in the movie here. And I showed them around the neighborhood. We went to a couple of bars. They got the flavor of things, and they pretty quickly said, "Hey, we have the town for you. It's Bayonne, New Jersey. It's going to be a perfect fit for what you're trying to make here." And they did a great job with that.
So with that, are there new projects that you're working on as a screenwriter? Now you're a screenwriter, filmmaker, producer, the whole thing,
exactly.
all in one.
Yeah, no.
Has it scared you off, or has it put you in another?
It has not. No, I mean, I think we were just so fortunate here to land IFC Films as our distributor, and we have a Film Mode as our foreign distributor. So we really are fortunate that this film has really taken off, not only nationally but internationally. We've released it in a couple of European countries already, and I don't want to get overconfident. I am working on another screenplay. Who knows how long it's going to take to see if it's any good. But I'd like to stick with comedy. I think comedy is a little bit of a missing link these days. There's really, there's a lot of action and superhero stuff, but not a lot of the comedic stuff anymore being produced.
Right. And people need to laugh. We don't know how long this life that we're living in presently is going to last. So, laughter is a great medicine.
Exactly.
Yearly, you do an unofficial reunion of friends and family back in Upper Darby?
We do. Usually a couple of weeks before Christmas, my buddy Billy Riley organizes all of us. We just kind of everybody that grew up in the neighborhood, and anyone's welcome. And it was pretty cool to see last year with the pandemic. We moved it to an outside venue, and we probably had 50 people just kind of show up over the course of the day, say hi to one another of different generations too. Just kind of people saying hello, which is really neat. And it's just, that's what makes that neighborhood just so unique and rewarding and fulfilling and enriching our lives, really.
I just had a thought. Everybody has a favorite scene in a movie. What's yours?
Mine's probably when they pull up to the shore house. Because I can tell you, I remember the shore to us was like this amazing thing. Like occasionally you knew somebody who had a cousin that had a shore house. And it was like, oh man, that would be great someday if I could get a shore house. So we would, through high school and into college, we would just try to compile every dime we had, which wasn't a lot. And we would just, if we needed extra money, we'd add an extra person to the shore house. So we would just pile as many people into this thing as we could. And it was always that unveiling of it when you pulled up to the house and you were expecting something, and you were always disappointed. You were very disappointed with what your money could achieve. That scene actually is a little bit of, my brother did this to his buddies, where he told them they were going to be on the beach with the house that they rented, and they pulled up, and I think they were about 7 miles from the beach. So that just let down, and it's funny. It's and that was kind of that's probably my favorite scene, because you have this build up of excitement and let's go, we're heading down, everybody's going, you fill the car up with alcohol and you pull up to it, and there's this like somebody let the air out of the balloon.
Yeah, that scene had me laughing so hard. It's really funny. I wanted to speak about the process of making. So you spent a number of years writing the piece, but the process of the filmmaking, what was the best part of that for you?
For me, it was to see, you kind of revert back to your strengths. So, for me, that's kind of more the project management side of it. So after it was done, what I would probably underestimated was the amount of time from editing and soundtrack and just voiceovers, whatever it was that we had to accomplish. And thankfully, we had this amazing production team that kind of held our hands along the way to take it from start to finish. So for me, it was really I thought the editing was amazing, because again, you have this story that you wrote, you have this story that you shot, and now when you get into editing, like some things are changed all over. Some things that you thought were hilarious, when you look at it, they're really not that funny. Or some things, because of the strength of our crew and our cast, and the comedic chops of our cast, they were able to make some things way funnier than probably what we had written originally. Jamie Kennedy and Jeremy Piven they're great stand-up comedians.
Right.
And Bruce Dern, we we weren't going to tell Bruce what he was going to say on the set. He kind of just, you're not going to tell that guy anything. He was amazing. And he immediately got it. He actually, he told me when I met him on set that he actually lived in Upper Darby when he was going to the University of Penn as a student. So he really knew the neighborhood, which I thought was pretty neat.
Wow. Wow. The connections of the leads to that area is just amazing. One last thing I'd like to talk to you about. You're a family man and you're away on real estate projects, but you usually come home on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, we're for the most part, my projects are local. Yeah, so right. They're within a drive from Philadelphia, which is kind of where we live. Yep.
Was it the same when you were making the film?
No, that was an adjustment, and my twin daughters. So we have 3 daughters. My twins we just sent them off to college, and then it was like 2 weeks later that I said to my wife, "Hey, for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be up in North Jersey with this film." And I tried to come home as much as I could, but it was, she was amazing with the support, and I could have never gotten through it without her. Kind of had to be there. You have to be on set, and you have to kind of watch it formulate and percolate so that, things change so quickly. Even, your scene was great where you were able to interject and bring in your own dialogue to that scene. And that's what's so awesome. And then all the actors were doing that. But at the same time, we had to have Paolo there as the director to kind of still move it in the right direction. So it was rewarding for me to be able to see that. You
work with some Upper Darby High School students, right?
Absolutely.
In what way? How did that begin, and where is it now?
Well, it's the high school is an amazing place. It's the largest high school in the state of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And they have, and it's very diverse. There's 65 different home languages spoken at the school when the kids go home for dinner. So incredible diversity. They're really coming from all over the world, the students there. And, they're in a lot of ways underserved. And certainly there's a economic need for at least the majority of the students. So for me, what's been the most rewarding part of kind of giving back to the neighborhood is the mentoring that we do there. So it's really, and not everybody, they graduate 900 kids a year. I don't have the resources to meet 900 kids, but whatever kids want the help, I offer it. And it's helpful just kind of, helping them with their college applications, helping them pick what school, or if in fact school is what the next step would be. Military is a great option. Trade school is a great option. And then just entering the workforce is a great option. So it's really kind of helping coach and prepare the kids for that next stage of life, and getting them as fully prepared as they can be. And it's great. It's a great place. Whenever you have a school that big, the news only reports the bad things, but those top kids and those top striving kids would be the top kids at any school in the area. They're exceptional kids.
And talk to me about Ventry.
Ventry is one of our communities. It's a community that we're building. It's a new home community of 166 homes. It's just off of the Philadelphia main line. One of the things that I'm proud about that project is in working with the township and the landowner, we were able to preserve more land than we're going to disturb. So there's over 100 acres of preserved space. So we took the homes and kind of clustered the homes together so that they weren't on big sprawling lots eating up a lot of land. And in doing that, we preserved a lot of the woodlands, and there's walking trails, and it's really it's a great kind of nature and picturesque community just in the outskirts of Philadelphia.
Sounds like a place that people could visit and just walk around a bit.
Completely. It's beautiful. Wow. It's right next to the Ridley Creek State Park, which has a colonial plantation. So it's an area that, this part of Pennsylvania, people have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I think that community is really a testament to what good land development and good planning can accomplish.
Well, folks, my audience, I want you to learn about Mr. Greg Lingo more than his screenwriting and producing and his acting on Last Call and all of these projects that he's going forward with, which I can't wait for, especially as comedy is much needed right now in this hard world that we're living in. So, folks, I thank you very much for your valuable time with us. This is Greg Lingo, screenwriter, producer, filmmaker of Last Call, which is not only in the US, but overseas and getting great reviews, I know, in the UK. Thank you, Greg, for spending this time with us on my little podcast and allowing me to kind of dig deep a little bit. You've been very responsive and open. Thank you so very much. Folks, please care to share, and remember, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny side of the street safely and mask up. Greg Lingo, thank you for your time. Thank you for this film. Thank you for all that you're doing in your locale with your real estate and children. I really appreciate your time here with me today.
Thank you so much for the support and great job in the film.
Oh, thank you. See you soon. We'll be talking.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.